The Metroid series has been around since the 80s, and we have gotten countless video games across many different platforms, different consoles, from the NES all the way down to Nintendo Switch. And despite how old the Metroid series is, it's very shocking that we never really got an anime series or a film or anything like that, at least not to my knowledge anyways. And honestly, I feel like even though Metroid is not nearly as popular as Mario or anything else on Nintendo or like Zelda or what have you, the Metroid series is big enough to a point where if they put out a film or some type of television series, I think it would definitely turn heads within the gaming world. But at this point, a lot of people feel like that boat or that ship has sailed, because it seems like in terms of peak popularity, the Metroid series was really big back in the 2000s during the Metroid Prime era, when we got the trilogy of games for GameCube and Wii between 2002 and 2007. And the teens decade, for the most part, you didn't really see too many high-profile Metroid games. And some people would say, Metroid the Other M was kind of a big deal. But I don't know. That's a game that doesn't get talked about as much. And, nothing was really done with that game after it was made in terms of a sequel, at least not to my knowledge. The Metroid Dread game from 2021 was really good. As a matter of fact, it was probably the best, is arguably the best installment in the entire series. And some people would argue that mainly because from a commercial standpoint, it did pretty well in sales. And basically, Metroid Dread managed to reach at least 3 million in terms of sales. Now, you look at the Metroid series overall, the best-selling game in the entire series, dating back to like the mid-80s, was a game that reached like 3 million in sales, or just barely over that. And that goes to show you right there that for the most part, even though a lot of Metroid games are interesting, and like the ones from the 2000s and, were amazing, I do feel that the Metroid series seems like something that caters to a niche audience for the most part, because I like the fact that the series has been around for as long as it's been around for decades. And I believe overall the video game series has managed to reach like roughly over 20 million copies worldwide in terms of sales. So obviously the Metroid series is not a big moneymaker for Nintendo, which is why, Nintendo started turning more towards other video games like Zelda, like Mario, like Splatoon. For the most part, it didn't seem like, Metroid, there was too much money to be made from the Metroid series, even in gaming for the most part. So it's like a Metroid film and a television series, who would that really appeal to, I mean, it would be interesting, and I'm pretty sure a lot of longtime fans of the series would love to see it, but at the same time, Lara Croft, Samus Aran, is not nearly as popular as Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. Samus Aran has been around longer than Lara Croft in terms of, being a video game character, and Lara Croft is arguably the most popular female protagonist in video game history, and the Tomb Raider series has sold millions. And even this past decade, I think the Tomb Raider series was probably more popular than it was in the 90s, but that's something that's subject to debate. But at the same time, Samus Aran is not nearly as popular as Lara Croft for the most part. And I don't think there's going to be too many people who are really going to argue with that. But at the same time, Like the reason why the Super Mario Brothers movie was so popular is because Mario has made millions, has made millions and has sold millions on video games and across multiple gaming platforms throughout multiple generation, and has still managed to stay relevant and even become more popular than he was in the 80s and the 90s. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like the Mario movie is really big, because even though Mario's first movie in 93 was kind of a stinker, it seems like the Mario franchise has gotten better with age. It's like as time goes by, Nintendo always finds ways to make Mario more appealing to the casual audience while maintaining their hardcore fan base. And with Metroid, it just seems like the people who really care about the series are like the niche audience, and I guess some casuals will probably look at it, but Metroid is really not in the same like library or in the same you know it's the same like air in terms of popularity as that of Mario or Sonic or what have you. And I do feel that as time has passed, it feels like the platform genre has become obsolete, and there's a lot of hardcore niche gamers who like Metrovania type of games, but at the same time, that's something that doesn't appeal to the general public. The Metrovania genre is not really that popular. It's more of a subgenre than anything. A lot of people are into RPGs, action adventures, and shooter games, and that's just the way things are. And even though Metroid could be considered a shooter to some extent, it's just that I don't know. It's like anything that Samus Aran is featured in relation to Metroid series is always going to be overshadowed by Mario or by Zelda or by Kirby or what have you. But whether or not Metroid deserves its own film or television series, considering how long it's been around, honestly, it does. But at the same time, will it appeal to casuals like the way Mario does? Probably not.